in the Bible according to the first book of Samuel chapter 4 and 5. There happened to be a great battle between the people of Israel and Philistines. The battle was called
The Battle of Aphek.
During the battle, the army of the Philistines were camped in a region called Aphek. And the army of Israel were camped in Ebenezer. The Israelites brought the Ark of the Covenant box from Shiloh to the battlefield. Bringing the Ark of the Covenant box of Yahweh to the battlefield was the decision of the elders of Israel, because they had already lost 4,000 soldiers to the Philistines in a previous battle, and were hoping for revenge. But unfortunately for the Israelites, they lost and the Philistines won again.
On that day, about 30,000 of the Israeli soldiers died on the battlefield.
And the Ark of the Covenant box was captured by the Philistines. Then again, Hophni and Phinehas were slain. They were the two sons of Eli, the national priest of Israel during that time. A great fear befell on the entire Israelites, because on that very day the ark of the Lord was taken from them, and also the heirs of the priesthood were slain. Moreover, a lot of soldiers were killed, and finally, the national priest Eli died of the shocking news from the battlefield. Philistines, having captured the Ark of the Covenant box, brought it to their city Ashdod and placed it in the house of Dagon. During that time, Dagon was the national god of the Philistines, with temples in Ashdod and Gaza. Dagon was worshipped by many across the middle of Euphrates, with primary temples in Tudal and Turka. Dagon's cults were also built in Mari and Imar. In ancient Mesopotamia, Dagon was worshipped by kings and rulers. They cherished him as god capable of granting them kingship and extending their territories. The first book of Samuel renders account on how the Ark of the Covenant box got to the hands of the Philistines.
And it reads,
And the Philistines took the Ark of God, and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. And when Philistines took the Ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon, and set it by Dagon. And when they of Ashdod rose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark for the Lord. And they took Dagon and set him in his place again. And when they rose early on the morrow morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him. Now having known the circumstances that brought the Ark of the Covenant box to Ashdod, and the prominence of Dagon in the land of the Philistines. Let us dive into the main question in this video, which reads:
Why Dagon fell.
Before we dive into the mysteries that led to the fall of Dagon, in front of the Ark of the Covenant box, let us analyze to understand why the Philistines at first place decided to capture the Ark of the Covenant box and never think of destroying it, but rather brought the Covenant box into the house of Dagon. Reason number 1. According to the first book of Samuel, the Philistines were afraid of the God in the Covenant box, and it is because they have heard of the plagues the Lord had brought upon Egyptians some years ago, when they challenged his authority and therefore never attempted to destroy the Covenant box, even though they succeeded in capturing the Ark of the Covenant box. Reason number 2. The Philistines rejoiced when they seized the Ark of the Covenant box, and it is because they believe in pantheon of gods, and therefore decided to institutionalize Yahweh, the God of Israel, as one of their gods. Philistines wanted to make Yahweh their God because they admire his works, power, and doings. They had seen and heard Yahweh smiting down the enemies of Israel in numerous times. The Philistines came to the realization that they have won the battle over the Israelis because Israelites have sinned against their God, and therefore decided to appease Yahweh to become one of the gods of the Philistine land, and for that they brought the Covenant box to Ashdod. Now, having understood the agenda of the Philistines bringing the Ark of the Covenant into Ashdod, and placing it under the courtesy of their national god Dagon, let us finally dive into
why Dagon ended up falling before the Ark of the Covenant box, and his head and palms of his hands been cut off.
Reason number 1. The statue of the Philistine god Dagon was made up of stones. And as Jesus said in the Bible, according to Luke chapter 19 verse 40, that stones are capable of crying unto the Lord in praise to worship the Lord when men are quiet.
Rabbi, command your disciples to be quiet.
I tell you, if they were to be quiet, the stones themselves would begin shouting.
It is therefore believed that in the night when everybody was asleep and the covenant box of Yahweh rested in the house of Dagon, the stones which were the makeup of the statue of Dagon dragged themselves to bow before the Lord Yahweh and praise to worship the Lord, as Jesus explained in the book of Luke. And on the next day, Dagon was found laying before the Ark of the Covenant box. Credit of the mystery revealed in reason number 1 goes to
Reverend Emmanuel Seyakoto of International Charismatic Church, Anya Owoshi branch.
Reason number 2. When the Ark of the Covenant box entered the house of Dagon, it is believed to have been Yahweh's plan to destroy the source of strength of the Philistines completely, because Philistines have been troubling the Israelites with battle for a long time. In the night of the second day of Yahweh's presence in the house of Dagon, there happened to be a battle between Dagon and Yahweh, and with no doubt, Yahweh won the battle, and the evidence was the broken statue of Dagon in the morrow morning. Reason number 3. The significance of Dagon's head and both palms of his hands been cut off purport to the victory of Yahweh and Israel won over Dagon and the Philistines. However, it is explained prophetically that having cut off Dagon's head implies that Dagon and Philistines shall not rule anymore. Then again, Dagon's palms of his hands taken off also signify that Dagon has been made powerless and therefore cannot render any spiritual support to the Philistines any longer. All the prophecies were evidentially fulfilled when the people of Ashdod were bombarded with pestilence such as emerods, because of the presence of the Ark of the Covenant box, and Dagon could not rescue them until Ashdod sent away the Ark of the Covenant box back to the people of Israel.
Please subscribe to the channel and press notification bell for notice when new videos are uploaded.